I know it's been a while since I've made my last video, and I'm sure you're all just dying to hear from me, so here I am. It's been a while since I've been able to go out and actually do anything because I have been sick, so I've been stuck inside for weeks, most of January and February, but I've been feeling better recently, so I'm excited to share a little trip that I took to go see the snow monkeys. For those of you who know me, I think that snow monkeys are so cute, or that monkeys are so cute, so I was really excited to go see them. So I'm just gonna share a little bit about what I did while I was there. So if you're interested, keep watching. The last time I went somewhere snowy, I was freezing cold the entire time. You might remember that because I actually made like a short video about that. But this time I decided to get totally ready. I wore hiking boots and warm socks and the warmest clothes I could find. So I was ready for the snow, and it definitely helped a lot, although it was still really cold, as you can imagine, in the snow. After I got ready to go, I just locked up the house and took the stairs. Just kidding. I took the elevator. Don't worry. I got plenty of stairs in on this trip and every single day living here. So once I got to Tokyo Station, I started following signs for the Shinkansen because I decided to take the Shinkansen to get there. It's the fastest way. Tokyo Station is really crowded. I actually bought my tickets online using Klook. So I used that service, that booking service, to get tickets. And so I actually had to stop at a kiosk first to use the QR code to print my tickets. And I personally like to have physical tickets with me just in case. So I grabbed those using my QR code, and then I headed into the station. And if I'm being honest, going into super busy stations like Tokyo Station, Shinjuku Station, Shibuya, all of those areas, they're kind of intimidating for me because sometimes my IC card doesn't work. And then, of course, you're stuck on the outside of the gate and everyone's piling up behind you and you're like, excuse me, and you're like trying to get out and figure out what went wrong with your ticket. So for me, it's even worse when I'm carrying luggage because then it's just harder to navigate. So I always get nervous doing that, but of course, it all worked out just fine. When you are taking the Shinkansen, you actually need two different tickets. One is with the basic fare and one is with the express fare. And I'm actually not going to go into detail on that in this video, but if you would like to know more about how to take the Shinkansen, please let me know and I can make a video about that for you. Once in the station, I just followed signs to the Shinkansen. And if you're in the right part of the station, they are everywhere. It's hard to miss. So if you're not seeing signs, then you probably need to go to a different part of the station because they're really everywhere. I found my way to my platform, and from there I waited for the train, and I just love seeing the Shinkansen because I think it is, I mean, it's just such a cool train, you know? Like, it just looks cool and it's so fast, and if you've ever had the chance to be on a platform and it like zips through, like it's a platform that they don't all stop at, it is just incredible how fast they go. It's startling, like you're standing there and there's nothing, and next thing you know there's a train and then it's gone and you're like, whoa, it's really crazy. So if you ever take a pit stop and see a Shinkansen go by or have that chance, I would recommend. I think it's really cool to see. Anyway, my train came in and I waited in line with everybody else. We had to wait a little bit longer because they had to switch all the seats around, which was kind of cool to see. Taking the Shinkansen is one of my favorite things to do here in Japan. So I found it really enjoyable, just the whole experience, super easy. And I just love looking out the window and seeing the landscape go by. To see the snow monkeys, one way to get there is to take the Shinkansen from Tokyo Station, or another station, to Nagano. So that's what I did. We got to Nagano, but unfortunately, that's not where you stop. So you actually have to take another train from there to wherever you're staying the night. So I went to Yudanaka Onsen because I can just take a local train from the train station all the way there. So I grabbed that train. I also grabbed a snack for the road because I was really hungry at that point. And honestly, this train was really cool too. So Japan does trains so well, and I love taking trains. I think it's one of the most fun experiences in Japan. If you're ever visiting, I recommend public transportation just because they have a really great system and their trains are really cool. I mean, what other reason do you need? The local train ride was just as beautiful, maybe even more so than my Shinkansen ride because it was so snowy. I mean, there was snow everywhere. It was so beautiful. And personally, I love snow, so I was happy to see it. Once I got to Yudanaka Onsen, I knew I was in the right place because the entire station had giant photos of monkeys, which made me even more excited. So I quickly went to my hotel. I dropped off my luggage so I didn't have to carry it around with me the entire time, and then headed back to the train station. I really thought that Yudanaka Onsen was going to be a lot more crowded than it was. I rarely ran into other people while I was there. I mean, it really felt kind of deserted, but I enjoyed walking around the streets and they were empty and they were beautiful and covered in snow. Whenever I go touring, then I'll often try to frame things in my camera so it looks like there are fewer people than there actually are, because I would rather have a photo with fewer people in it. But I didn't even have to try at Yudanaka Onsen. There was like nobody there. Okay, I mean, actually there were people there, but it just felt like way less crowded than Tokyo, and it was really nice. Anyway, I headed back to the station, and at the station, if you walk outside, there's a little area where you can get bus tickets. So I purchased a ticket from there to the Monkey Park, and you can only buy it one way, so you buy it there, and then when you come back, you'll pay on the bus. So I bought a one-way ticket and went all the way to the Monkey Park parking lot, and it was a beautiful ride again, of course. And when I got there, then I got ready to walk. I had read online that it was a bit of a walk from the parking lot to the monkey park, and that is true. It took about 30 to 45 minutes to get there. I was stopping every now and then to take pictures and just enjoy the scenery, but it took a while. I actually really enjoyed the walk though. It was through this gorgeous forest scenery with really tall, like towering green trees, and of course the snow, which I thought was beautiful. And if you look, you might even see monkeys along the way, which I did a few times, and they were so cute. Once you get to the park, and even along the path, honestly, this was a lot more crowded than what I had experienced up to this point. I mean, this is one of the reasons people go to this area, is to go see the monkeys, so I did run into quite a few other people while I was there. I would say that it was still enjoyable. Even though there were a lot of people, there were also lots of monkeys, and it was still like a pretty peaceful walk. So I thought it was nice. To enter into the monkey park, it costs 800 yen per person. It's a little pricey. I mean, it's not that bad actually, but I've done cheaper things, so I don't know. But for me, I thought it was totally worth it. The monkeys, like I said, they were so cute. You walk along a path and it brings you to the onsen, and the monkeys are in there. Like, they're just sitting in the water and they're so cute, or they're huddling together outside of it. I really loved it. There were even these little cute baby monkeys that would just like run around and bother each other, and it was so cute. As I mentioned, well, most of my shots, I tried not to get people in it just because I don't want to have other people in my videos and pictures and everything. It was actually pretty crowded, especially around the onsen. People would kind of camp out in these little areas and be filming or taking photos or things like that. And, you know, that's fine, that's their prerogative. But I would say if you go, be willing to share the space, because it's not really fair to everybody else who came and also want to see them. And you might have to wait a little bit to actually get close to the water's edge if you want to take your own pictures. So yeah, it's actually really kind of crowded there. But for me, it was still worth it because I thought they were really cute. And if you don't care about getting the perfect shot, then you can stand somewhere and see them perfectly fine. There are plenty of other places to see monkeys besides the onsen. I mean, you can watch them playing in snow and digging around and playing with each other and walking near the river. And there are just so many other places that you can see the monkeys. The walk back was just as beautiful, but sadly I timed it wrong. So by the time I got there, the bus I wanted had just left, and I had to wait 45 minutes outside in the cold, not around the monkeys, as I waited for the next bus. Could have been worse though. I saw the line for the other bus and it looked pretty bad. If you do ever decide to take this trip and see the snow monkeys, I recommend staying at a ryokan at one of the local onsen towns nearby. So as I mentioned, I decided to stay at Yudanaka Onsen. And if I'm being honest, I decided to stay there because I found a pretty good priced hotel there and it was last minute. So I didn't have much of a choice, but I'm really glad that I found this ryokan because it was amazing and I really enjoyed my stay there. The ryokan where I stayed actually offered a kaiseki dinner, but I decided not to do that. Well, actually, I didn't have a choice. As I mentioned, I had booked this hotel a little bit late and you have to let them know 5 days in advance. I didn't realize I'd be going on this trip until like 2 days. So unfortunately I couldn't have that, but the hotel recommended some other amazing restaurants and I picked one where I got katsudon and it was delicious. The ryokan where I stayed also offered a private onsen experience, so if you wanted, then you could sign up, your room could sign up for a time slot, and you would get to use their outdoor onsen for it was half an hour per room. So after visiting the onsen, I headed back to my room, I had some cookies and cream ice cream, and then I turned in for the night. The next morning, it was blizzarding, which I was super excited about because as I may have mentioned in this video, I love snow. So it was really enjoyable to just sit there and see the snow falling from the ryokan. I ended up having breakfast at the ryokan and it was amazing. It was delicious. Again, I'm not gonna go into all the different foods, but there was fish, rice, miso soup, everything you would expect. Again, if you would like to know more about this kind of thing, please let me know and I can make a video on it. But otherwise, yeah, it was delicious and also the spread was gorgeous. Like it just looked so visually appealing. It was beautiful. After I ate breakfast, then it was sadly time for me to head back to the station to get back to Tokyo. The hotel staff offered to drive me because it was so windy and snowy outside. I took them up on that offer. It was so kind. You can't really tell from the videos, but it was really windy outside. Overall, I would give this ryokan that I stayed at 5 stars. It was amazing. The staff was incredible, incredibly kind. The facilities were clean and comfortable and it was so warm while it was freezing outside. The hospitality was amazing. The food was amazing. Overall, I just had an incredible stay. Yeah, I would definitely recommend staying there in Yudanaka Onsen. I can link the hotel below if you're ever interested in going. I recommend. To finish up my trip, I bought a bento for the way home on the Shinkansen, and then I had to wait in Nagano Station for a little bit because I got there a little early, but I grabbed my train and then I made it back to Tokyo. You know what they say, all good things come to an end. Except in this case, it doesn't work for me again because I'm still in Tokyo, and that's also a good thing. Overall, was it worth it? I would say yes. However, having said that, I would also add that I really love monkeys. As I mentioned, I think they're really cute. I love snow. So, you know, I had a great hotel. I think all of those added to a really good experience. But overall, I would say it's worth it if you would like to get out of Tokyo for a day or night. If you want to go somewhere a little bit less crowded, although the snow monkey area was crowded. If you want to do something a bit different than what you might get in the city, or if you just like monkeys like I do, then yes, it's worth it. Could you do this as a day trip? I think yes, but it would be kind of a packed day. You'd have to get up pretty early so that you could grab a train, and then it'd be quite a bit of travel to get there. And then once you're there, you'd have to hike for 45 minutes to get to the snow monkeys. You could enjoy it for a little bit, but then you're already going to need to start walking back so you can get your bus, to get your train, to get the Shinkansen, so you can make it back to Tokyo before you would have to stay the night somewhere. So I would say you'd have to get up early. It'd be a lot of travel for one day. It took me about 3.5 hours to get there. So that would be almost 7 hours of travel for like an hour with the snow monkeys. So I would say, yes, it's possible, but I don't know if it would be enjoyable. And on top of that, it would be sort of expensive to take the Shinkansen just for that 1 hour or 2 hours or whatever it is with the snow monkeys. Something else to consider is renting a car. That might save a little bit on time, although I'm not sure if it would save on much time, and it would also probably be pretty expensive as gas and tolls are pretty pricey here also. But that is an option. I'm not sure about parking. I do know that they have a parking lot at the Snow Monkey Park, or rather outside of it, you'd still have to hike in. But they do have a parking lot, so you could park there, but you would have to check with hotels for parking spaces and other things like that, and that would be another complication. So in the end, I would rate this experience, this trip, 4.25 stars. And if you'd like to see the breakdown of that, let me know and I'll make a little video explaining how I figured that out. But I personally loved it. I thought it was a really good experience and I would recommend this trip to others.